All right, easy. Thank you. Bye. All right. So we only have one. Ah, goodness me. Hello, people. How are we? We fixed the hair a bit. Hello, Sebastian. How are you? Good morning to you too. How are you guys doing today in this rainy Saturday morning? How are you guys? Let me write that. How is everybody? Let me put. How are you guys today? Perfect. So as you guys are aware, this is our second YouTube live. So before we start, we're just going to do some icebreakers. So hello guys, how are you? How are you guys? How was your week? Did anything eventful happen? Hello Ine. So we got our wonderful Ines that is always helping me, all right, to the back. So give her a round of applause. Hello guys. How are you doing today? Any news, any updates? How was your week? Hello, hello. Perfect. All right, so we're getting nice and ready. Hello, everybody. Not much. Very good. What about this weather? How are you feeling? Do you want to stay in bed and go to sleep, or do you want to watch some YouTube lives? How are you feeling? Hold on. Perfect. Oh, breakfast. What are you eating for breakfast, Carol? What are you eating for breakfast? Hello, guys. What are you cooking, Tomas? That's good. So we have quite an interesting morning. Very good. I love this weather. Yes, Anto. This weather is pretty nice to stay home and sleep. And sleep. Perfect. Lentejas. Oh, wow. Mate and fruit. Ooh, is that a good combination? Mate and fruit? Watch lives. Thank you, Diego. Lentejas. Wow. At what time is it? 11:07 in the morning. Very good. And watch Netflix. All right, good. So you have a mix of three things: watching lives, Netflix, and eating. All right, good. I hate this weather. It's tricky, the weather. Very tricky. So, guys, muffins and biscuits. Ah, tasty. Very tasty. Very tasty. So, guys, as you are aware, okay, most of you were here last Saturday. You know that your chat is at the bottom there. And this time, let's try to keep the chat related to what we're talking about. Or if you want to ask any questions, it could be about anything, but it has to be related sort of to what today is. So as you guys are aware, it is Traveling Club. So it is about speaking. It's about vocabulary. It's not really about grammar, although if there is some help, I can help there. But the idea is questions related to today. Okay, guys? And today's topic is living abroad. That will be today's topic. Guys, I wrote it down there. So living abroad is today's topic. So before we get started, what do you guys understand about that question, that topic, living abroad? What do you get from that? What do you understand? Hello, Ulysses. How are you guys? Welcome newcomers. Okay, any newcomers? Remember, The chat is down there. Exactly, Mika. Living in another country. Very good. So living, let me write it here. Abroad equals in another country. Let me write that there. Okay. Good. Abroad, Maria, abroad means in another country. So abroad means another country. Okay. So there's usually the phrase, are you going abroad or are you living abroad? So it basically means, guys, are you going to another country? Okay. Abroad is another country. Okay, Andrea. So I'm assuming this other country is Argentina, right? Here, yes, of course. So, Andrea, where are you originally from? Because this is a very perfect example of what living abroad means. So, where are you from, Andrea? So you could give us an insight. Oof, that's good. I'm from Lima, okay? So, guys, that is, Andrea over there is the perfect example of living abroad, okay? She's originally from a country and she's living in another, in brackets, abroad. All right. Hello, guys. Peru, of course, Gundi, of course. So, guys, for the newcomers, I will revise a little bit what we're doing, okay? So bear with me, guys. I'm going to be doing repetitions quite a lot, so patience, please. So today's topic, again, is living abroad, okay? Living abroad. And remember to use this chat related to things for traveling or anything that is beneficial for today, okay? So please don't try to ask me questions about present perfect continuous or past simple because that's not today, okay? How is it used in a sentence? Okay, you could use it, I am living abroad, or I am going, hold on, my typing is a bit slow, going to live abroad. Okay, so this guy's over there at the bottom is how you could use live abroad in a sentence. So you could tell it to a friend, I am going to live abroad, okay, or I'm going to travel abroad. Going to travel abroad. Remember, guys, abroad helps the individual reduce the sentence. So instead of saying, I am going to travel to another country or I'm going to travel to many countries, you just say, I'm going to travel abroad. Hello, Vicky, where have you lived apart from Argentina and Australia? Very good question. I have lived in 4 countries. So I lived in the Philippines, I lived in Australia, I lived in Malta, and now I'm back in Argentina. Hit the like button. So guys, I lived in 4 countries. It's true, hit the like button if you can, all right? Remember to subscribe. No, I'm joking. But yes, I've lived in 4 countries, including Argentina. So that is a very good question. Thank you very much, Vicky. Yes, so let's do introduction questions. Have any of you lived abroad or does it feel? Yes, Andrea, they speak English. They also speak Spanish. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but in the Philippines, they speak Spanish. Paula, I lived in Manila, which is the capital, and it's probably the biggest city and the messiest city to live in. So if you would like to go to the Philippines, I suggest you go to the beaches, which are beautiful, and there are not too many people. So, Vicky, another great question. Which are the best things of each country? That is tough. That is tough. The Philippines, I was quite young. I was between the ages of 5. I was living there from 3 to 6. Oh, Paul, good. What did you like more? Okay, good. So we have, I've lived in San Diego for 5 weeks. Good. I lived in Manila for around 4 years. Exactly, Santiago. They speak Spanish because they were a Spanish colony. Good. I never traveled, but yeah, there's always time, guys. So exactly like you guys are saying there, they speak Spanish in the Philippines. But what most people don't know is that they speak over 175. So I'll write it over 175 languages. So in the Philippines, guys, since it's so many islands, they speak so many languages. So they don't speak the main ones like, for example, English, Spanish, French, but they have their dialects. So you know how in each province they speak differently. Well, let's just say in each province there, they have a different dialect to speak. But let's just say the best thing about Philippines were probably the beaches, and that's about it. Funny, that is a very good question. The country that I liked the most was Malta. I mean, I why did you decide to move from country to country? My father's job involved a lot of traveling, so we were like bouncing around with him. We were bouncing with him. Good. So we're going to go back to the question that we sort of did previously is have any of you lived or stayed abroad for a long period of time? And if so, how did you guys feel about it? So which places have you visited? Even if it was just for, let's just say, a vacation, but which places have you visited and which places would you recommend us to visit? So right now, I would recommend, well, of course, right now we cannot travel. How about transport in the Philippines? Lucia, that is a perfect question. Transport in the Philippines is a mess. It is a mess. Traffic is a killer. So traffic, guys, remember traffic is when you're in the car and nothing is moving, is a killer. I'm going to put it in this terms because you could go, let's just say, Belgrano to Palermo, you know how it's quite a short distance. It's not that far. In Philippines, you could spend 4 hours just going there. Okay, so traffic is a mess. So let's see. I lived in Los Angeles for a year. Okay, very good. We have someone who visited Malta. Excellent. Very good. Yes, I live here. I am from Venezuela. Welcome. We got another person living abroad, the United States. Okay. Chile and Bolivia. I recommend New Zealand. Yes. For those who don't know, New Zealand is the nicer Australia. So hold on, guys, because we got some newcomers. So, guys, for those that are coming up now to the live session, we are talking about living abroad. So I'm going to write it here, living abroad. And this is, again, guys, living in another country. And right now we're doing some questions about how many places someone lived or visited to. I visited Ukraine. I lived in Brazil. In the Philippines, you can use the bike, but it's sort of, it's not recommended. It's quite dangerous. Italy, France, and England. See, a lot of people lived a lot. I got back, Matthias, I came back to Argentina, what is it, 2020? End of 2018, I returned to Argentina. Okay, so we have some travelers. Excellent, excellent, very good. So for those that lived in another country, what was the hardest part for you guys? What was difficult? Was it the language? Was it the people? What was the hardest part of living in another country? Okay, So guys, this is for you, those that stayed in a place for an X amount of time. What was the hardest part of living in another country? Was it the language barrier? Was it the cultural barrier? What did you guys think? I miss my family. That's good. To understand fluent English, that is sometimes hard. Yes, very good. Here, Julia, I visit your state, Orlando. Oh, wow. Very nice. So we have a lot of travelers. Very good. In Paris, it was hard to. Ah, yes. In Paris, they do. In France, they don't like it when you speak English. So it's better if you go speak in Spanish than if you go speak in English. Put the food in the. Yes, sometimes the common name and foods are quite difficult. Which is my favorite typical food of Argentina? That is hard. Oof. I love empanadas. Uh, I like everything, honestly, except I don't like the blood sausage. Blood sausage, I do not like. I do not like. Good. Perfect. Very good. So, guys, we are going to, I'm going to give you some, I don't know, tips or advice if you would like to. Here we go. The hardest part was the concrete on my house. Yeah, of course, it was going to. The main difficulty is the language. Good. But I don't remember. What is the most difficult? Well, Santiago, for me, when it came to learning Spanish, the most difficult part was rolling the R's. That is quite difficult because in English we do not use it. So I had some difficulties with the R. That's a good question, Vicky. Vicky, you're hitting up a lot of good questions. Very good. So if I could choose a country, I would like to live in Iceland. I think because here. Yes. Okay, guys. Very good use of the chat. Excellent. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and give you guys some tips and some advice if you decide to go to the three countries that I lived in, because I know a little. So hopefully it could help you. So let's go first and foremost. We want to start with the Philippines. So the Philippines, it's quite a messy country in terms of a lot of people and it's overcrowded. So overcrowded. Overcrowded means there are a lot of people. Okay, guys? Overcrowded. A good advice in if you ever go to the Philippines and most Asian countries, except China and Japan, which are the top, and yeah, is when it comes to buying vegetables, you cannot eat them straight away. So it's imagine like now, you cannot eat the vegetables straight away because it is really dirty and it's filled with exactly sobre popular, exactly, Andrea. So in the Philippines, it is overcrowded. So everything takes forever. So like we said about the traffic, like we said about going in stores, it is huge. A lot of people in small cities. What else? Like Tokyo, are you referring to? Yes, but imagine that times two. Okay, so a lot of people. Exactly. The Philippines food, in my personal opinion, is not tasty. I do not like it. It is a lot of fish, a lot of fried food. Hello, Gloria, and welcome. Okay, so for the newcomers, I'm going to revise a little bit. We are doing living abroad. Okay, guys, and we're talking about living in another country. So it is very noisy in the Philippines. Is it very noisy? It is. There is a lot of noise pollution in the Philippines. A lot. A lot of noise pollution. And there's a lot of pollution in general. So in the Philippines, it's beautiful if you go to the beaches. Okay? Beautiful. You lived in Italy for a while. Where, Paula? Where in Italy did you live? So we're going to be bouncing and bouncing. So that is the Philippines. I only recommend guys going to the beaches because that is absolutely wonderful. It looks incredible. From my point of view, very good question. I like the beaches and the availability of products. So in the Philippines, you could buy anything. You could buy fake iPhones that work like the real ones. You could buy fake real cars. No, I did not live in the beach, near the beach, unfortunately. How much time did you live in Australia? Around 14 years, 13 to 14. Yeah, so then that is the Philippines. About Australia, I cannot complain because I love it. But do you guys know, let me write it here. Do you know the capital of Australia? So do you guys know the capital of Australia? How about pollution in each country? Very good topic. Yes, fake card true trust. Exactly. Pollution in each country, very good question. So Philippines up here, Malta, Argentina, Australia. Australia is quite low with pollution. I'm seeing Sydney. It's not Sydney. No, guys. If I decide to, I will recommend Santiago. Don't worry. Guys, a lot of people make this mistake and they think it's Sydney. Excellent, Roberto. Excellent. Excellent. Maria, sometimes I do miss it. Sometimes, yes. So your capital of Australia is Canberra. Why, Valeria? I moved, like I said previously, because my father, when he used to work, he used to travel a lot. So that is why. Sydney is the city of Nemo. It is. Sydney is the city of Nemo. But guys, like I said over here, Canberra is the capital of Australia. The only good thing about Canberra is that it has the House of Parliament. Besides that, it's quite an ugly city. Very good question, Andrea. Why is Sydney better known than Canberra? Because, to be honest with you guys, Canberra is ugly. Okay? Canberra is ugly. It is a very, very ugly city, and Sydney is beautiful. So you cannot compare each one. Violetta, what is the worst of Philippines? Philippines is quite dirty in sense of the streets were not clean. So yeah, why Canberra is not the nicest? Canberra is sort of like the United Kingdom in Australia. Canberra is like when I went, I've been to Canberra 3 times for my school, and every time I go to Canberra, it is always like today's weather. Well, it depends. It depends if you're working with an Australian company, then no, you will live good. But if you're making Argentine pesos, then I don't think so. No, Canberra is in the very north. So Canberra is in the center. It's in the center. So it's not really next to nice weather. It always has very bad weather, Canberra. Then you have Sydney on the other hand, which has the Opera House, it has the Grand Harbour. People in Australia are in quarantine now because I haven't because my gun. Yes, Lucia, very good question. In Australia, the quarantine is optional, okay? It is not forced like it is here in Argentina and most countries. The quarantine in Australia is an option, so most people are like, if it's an option, I decide no. So you went to Canberra. More when I lived in Australia, I lived in Sydney and the Central Coast. So those are the places I lived in Australia. I traveled a bit around, but I lived in Sydney, and the Central Coast is 3-4 hours. maybe 2 3 hours away from Sydney, and it's a beaching territory. So there was a lot of beaches. It was a small city town, and there were so many beaches. So that was my Australian living places, and beautiful. All I can say was beautiful. Food in Australia is really good. Beaches in Australia are really good, except the only downside, okay, downside means negative side. Okay, downside means negative side. Unfortunately, Violetta, I only know 2 or 3 languages. So English is my first, Spanish is my second, and I know Italian. I studied it for 3 years, but I cannot remember anything. Maria, it's best if he already starts finding a job from now if he wants to live in Australia. But if he finds a job, he will live good. Andrea, very good question. In Australia, we do not have a president because we are under the Queen. Okay, so we have a prime minister, and the prime minister lives in Canberra. Okay, so we have, since we're under the Queen, so the Queen is still our principal authority. We only have a prime minister. No, don't worry, don't worry. It's no worries. With who did I live? More, I lived with my family. So we all moved to Australia. Australia, it is a member of the Commonwealth. It is a member of the Commonwealth because we are, and I think forever will be, a British colony. What is the demand to live or leave? Sophia, live or live? Leave. So a disadvantage of Australia for some people could be the fact that there's a lot of dangerous animals. Uh, they are very strict, so very strict. Strict means firme, in the terms of law. So, for example, when you walk in the streets here and you see some motorcycles on the sidewalk or people crossing red lights, if you do that in Australia, you'll either go to jail or you'll pay a huge fine. So a fine, guys, is a multa, okay? So if you do that, they will destroy you. So a disadvantage of Australia could be it is very strict and it has very bad Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi in Australia is so slow, so slow. But that is I like I like more nature and animals. Thank you. I do like the city, but I prefer animals a lot more. Excellent. So that is Australia in a nutshell. If you ever want to travel, I recommend everywhere or in Australia. But I recommend the big cities, so Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth. I'm not Perth, I don't like Perth. Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, wonderful. Samsung is worse, it is. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Malta, okay? Have you guys ever heard of Malta? I know I've seen 2 people visit it and I've heard, so. Okay, I didn't know that of Peppa Pig. I didn't know that of Peppa Pig. Interesting. Yes, Australia has 11 of the 12, so 11 of the 12 deadliest animals. Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys know, we're going back to Australia. 11 of the 12 deadliest animals. Oof, that's a good question, Sophia. Argentina or Australia? I don't know. It's very tough because I have all my family are in Argentina, so I love it because of that. But then I grew up in Australia, so very tough question. I don't know how to answer it. Yes, I visited Malta last year. Where did you go to Malta? Where did you visit? Ulysses, so it depends where you live. So, for example, if you live in the city, so you live in the center of Sydney, you'll probably find spiders, okay, which are, in my opinion, the worst because I think almost all of the spiders in Australia have venom, so they can seriously hurt you. But if you were to go to the Central Coast like I did, and there's more bushes, more forest, then you find everything. You have bats, you have what else? Snakes, spiders, frogs that are poisonous. If you go to the beach, you have sometimes sharks, but sharks are not common. You have octopuses, so it's quite, you have to be prepared. Ah, Point Break. Luis, it's called Point Break in English. Okay, perfect. Let's see. What is the principal thing like Argentina? The principal thing is my family are all here, so my cousins, my aunts, all of those are here. So that would probably be the main thing. And kangaroos, guys. There's a misconception that kangaroos are very sweet, but kangaroos are quite dangerous. Okay, so if you ever go to Australia and you see a kangaroo, don't go and pat it. Okay. Yes, Andre, sometimes we do eat kangaroo meat. It's not tasty. Hello, mate. How are you? My family are in Argentina, but yes, going back to that question, we do eat kangaroo meat. It's not tasty, but kangaroos are dangerous. Okay. Hello, Tiago. Welcome, welcome, guys. We're doing living abroad. Okay, living in other countries. Good. What do I miss about Australia? Have a lot of friends there, which I really love. Yes, kangaroo meat is not tasty, it's very salty. Education in Australia, not so good. Not so good. All right, so we're talking about Malta. For those that don't know, Malta is a tiny island. So it's an island. There we go. It's an archipelago, so it's a cluster of islands. And it's in the Mediterranean. Okay. Which provinces would you like to know? I would like to go to Bariloche. I'd like to visit all the south. I'd like to visit all the south. So yeah, for you guys that don't know, Malta is in the center of the Mediterranean, and it is a very popular country in Europe. A lot of tourists go because it is one of the top 5 countries to visit. So when this quarantine is over and you have time, try and visit Malta. It is beautiful. Okay, guys, it is beautiful. Maria, I'd like to live abroad again. To be honest with you, I'd like to live abroad again. But we gotta wait now because with this quarantine, we have to wait. I really recommend. Okay, Ushuaia. Yes, I heard they are one of the best places to visit. Yes, I would like to visit Patagonia. Valeria, Malta is a perfect place to learn English because most of you don't know Malta is part of the Commonwealth. So Malta is under the British. So in Malta they speak Maltese and English. So Maltese and English. Okay. Matthias' most famous sport in Australia is AFL. More, I did go to Spain. I did indeed. I went to Barcelona and then I went to a place called Lloret del Mar, which is a beautiful place. What do you recommend to visit in Malta? Since, like I said, it's very tiny, you could visit the whole country in a day. And it is very cheap to live in. It is very, very cheap. If you ever go to Malta, I recommend going to Comino and Goza. These are 2 islands next to it. Comino is, if you Google it on the internet, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. So you should. I lived in Malta for 6 years. So did you visit? No, I only went, Juani, to what you called Entre Rios, but I'd like to visit more. So yeah, that is a bit of In Malta, they teach a lot of English. Exactly. They're India, Pakistan, Australia, and Canada. And you have the Maltese, okay, the Maltese Islands. So if any of you want to visit Malta to learn English, highly recommendable because they speak English as their first language. Okay. How are the native people in Australia? I mean, if you go very north into Australia, you're going to find the real Australian, which is quite rude, the real Australian, and quite mean to foreigners. So I would stay in the cities. I wouldn't go too north. Exactly. Recommend Bariloche. I would love to visit Bariloche. Gozo is a beautiful island. It's true. Well, Andrea, very good question. Maltese is a mix. So I'm going to write it here, is a mix of, let me go, Arab, so the Maltese language is a mix of everything. Let me see if it's spelled correctly. So guys, down there is how the Maltese language is formed. So its base is Arabic, but it has Spanish, Italian, French, and English infusions. So the main sound is the Arabic k, but then you have words in Italian, you have words in French, you have words in Spanish, you have words in English. Because Malta, before it was a colony of the British, it was a colony of everybody. So everybody had a piece of Malta. So that goes into their culture, that goes into their language. So which is the best place that you visited? It would be Malta. Malta was truly amazing. It's incredible. You guys have to go visit it because words can't describe how good. Did you know something about New Zealand? No, I don't know a lot about New Zealand. All I know is that New Zealand is the nicer Australia in the sense that it doesn't have any dangerous animals. So if you want beautiful landscapes that Australia has, but it has a spider, you can go to New Zealand and it doesn't have a spider. So New Zealand is beautiful and safe. Yes, Marcel, I like to travel. I think so. Yeah, it's pretty nice. No, I've never been to India. I don't know if I would like to go. I don't know. I have friends that went and they don't recommend it. Very good. Andre, I do understand a bit of Maltese because I used to play football there, and you learn the swear words, so the bad words, very quickly. It's true, Roberto. Well done. Very, very well done. Very good. So, guys, any more questions? Good. So, yeah, do you like? I've never been doing it. Yeah. So the Maltese is, yeah, it's a hard language to understand, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. What's your favorite food? More, I do not know because I have quite a lot, but I do love lasagna, so I'll put lasagna up there. To go list to countries, guys, I would like to really visit Iceland. That is my. After that, I'm pretty happy. So that's good, guys. So that is a bit about the countries that I lived in. I listened in. In New Zealand, yeah, I guess so. New Zealand's pretty nice. Wellington is probably not the nicest. Do you like football? Yes, I love football. Love it. So guys, so that was a little bit about the countries that I've lived in, a little advice. I mean, if you guys want to ask any more related to those countries, you could use that chat. But now we're going to go to the vocabulary that we do. Is Australia as safe as they say? It depends. It depends what type of safe you're talking about. If you're talking about safe in terms of police, safe in terms of crime, I'd say yes or no. If you're saying safe in terms of animals, then I'd say it depends how you are. I have two sisters, Maria. How is the food in Malta? That's a very good question. The Maltese food is very, let's just say it's very homey. Okay. Do you guys remember last live video that I said that most of the food in Malta is homemade? So that's why the food there is, it's not something you eat quickly. You take your time to eat it because there's a lot of care. But the food is a mix of Arabic and Italian. So those are its two fundamentals, Italian and Arabic. And it's really good. It's really tasty. Really tasty. Very good. So guys, we're gonna do some vocabulary. Alrighty? So we're gonna do some vocabulary related to traveling. Again, some of them you might know, some of them you don't know. And remember, if there's something you don't understand, you can send a message on that chat and I'll happily answer it. So, guys, have a look here. Okay? The quality of life in Malta is very good. It's pretty good, yeah. What's the main thing you learn from each country? I would say, Vicky, that's a tough question. I would say adaptation. Okay? Because living in those countries, the visa, it enables you to visit the country either for work, okay, or travel, leisure. But the visa is that card that lets you, or that paper slip that lets you travel. Now, there's this phrase that most people that are living in another country are aware of. It's called okay. So basically, this is when you're living in a country. All right, let's say I'm living here in Argentina, and you know how you have amount of time to stay before your visa expires. So let's say my visa is expiring, but I want to stay in Argentina. I'll go quickly to Uruguay and do my visa run, and then I come back and I stay until someone stay in that country. So green card, guys. So the green card is, for example, the US version of the visa, which helps you go to the country. Yes, my signal went a bit slow, guys. My signal went, but it's back. Okay, guys. Remember, the visa lets you go to a country to travel. Hold on, I think my signal is a bit bad. So we have the visa. All right, guys. It helps us go to another country to work, travel, have fun. Okay. So we'll go visa, visa run. When your visa is ending, but you want to stay in the country, so you go to another country to extend it. Green card for America, it's like the visa. It helps you, it gives you a permit to stay. Work permit, guys, work permit is basically a permiso of working. So the work permit says, hey, Martin's here in Argentina for work. Okay, so that lets me stay in the country for work. Alrighty, guys, excellent. Now we have our next set of words. Okay, have a look at them. Perfect. We have our term expat. Okay, are you guys aware of this term expat? So an expat, guys, is somebody who is living in another country. So we have our friends from Lima, we have our friends from we're speaking to. They're considered expats because they are living in another country. But what's wrong, Liliana? Is it what's wrong, guys? All good? So an expat is someone living in another country. Okay, you don't hear me? What about now? Now? Can you guys hear me now? Let me move a bit closer. What about now? Is it is it better now? on here? No. I mean, yes, you'll be a foreigner, but an expat means you are. So, for example, my parents. Can you hear me? Let me go. How are we doing? How are we going? Good? Okay. All right. Okay, I will repeat it. Do not worry, guys. I will repeat it. Yeah, it's true. I don't know what's happening. It's because Fivertel keep fixing something. Those bloody people. Okay, guys. Yeah, hold through them again. All right. I don't know. All right. I'm going to. Okay. I will write the important things. Don't worry. Okay. So visa run when your visa is about to expire. Problem could be the hour. I think there's a lot of people connected now. When your visa is about to expire, another. So guys, this is a visa run. We'll try and push through it, okay? I will write. It stops the live. Interesting. Now it's good again? Okay. All right. All right. Let's get back to it, guys. Let's get back to it. Okay. Finally, we're back. Thank you, Dika. I miss you too. I don't know who, but I miss you. Very good. So we're back, guys. We're back. Good. We're back. That's good. There we go. I'm starting to see you guys again. Very good. So I'm very, very good. Visa run. Okay. So I'm sticking it here. I can see you and I only heard you. All right. So guys, we know visa, it lets us go to another country, okay? So it says, listen, Martin can go to the United States for 3 months. Boom, visa. Visa run is when my visa finishes, but I want to stay, okay? So right there I wrote, visa run when your visa is about to expire and you go to another country. Perfect, now it's great. I like that. I like to hear that. So you know how most British people that come to Argentina and their visa expires, they go to Uruguay to extend it. That's what a visa run is, okay? You go to another country to finish your thing. Yes, perfect. Green card. Guys, green card is more related to the United States, but it's basically the paper that says exactly, Jackie, exactly, is when you need to renew your visa. But remember, keep in mind, you want to stay in that country. So you want to stay in that country. Okay? Exactly. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be your native country. No, this is usually when you're in another country. So say, for example, let's say, Anto, you want to go to Australia. No, let's say something closer. Anto, you want to go to Malta. You did your visa, so they accepted you. But they say, listen, your visa is about to end, so you did your 3 months. You have the option to go to another country, to extend it, and then come back. That is the visa run, okay? Green card is basically for the United States. It's a piece of paper that says, listen, you can live here. Okay, it's a document that says you can live. Work permit is a permit that says Martin is in Argentina for work. Okay, no worries, guys. So it says, for example, Martin is in Argentina for work. If for some reason I'm not working there anymore, I have to leave. Okay. If for some reason I get fired, I gotta go. So this permit only lets me live in this country if I am working. Okay, guys? Oh, The light almost made me cry. Good. So now we got our next couple of vocabulary words. We got expat. Okay. Only USA needs green card. If I'm not mistaken, you need it for Australia as well, but USA are very strict with the green card. The visa run, people with visas can do it. Your work permit expires depending how long you are in the job. So like I said, if they fire you, your permit is expired. It is expired. So you can only stay if you're working. That's the work permit. Mora, your question is correct. Visa runs are only for visas. So if your visa is expired, you can only do it for the visa run. All right. Not it doesn't have to passport doesn't count. Yes, the majority of the countries use the green card, but it's mostly heard in the United States. So we got our expat. Okay, our expat, remember, is someone from another country living in another country. So that I use my parents because when they moved to Australia, they are expats. They were considered expats because they're from Argentina, but they lived in Australia. So an expat is someone from another country living in another country. Okay? Excellent, guys. Gap year. This is quite common with university students. So, for example, I just finished high school and I don't want to go to university. I take a gap year. So basically, I take a year off. So a year off. A year off is a term of saying a free year. Okay, a free year of not doing anything, and a travel. Okay, expat is a foreign. Expat is someone living no, in another country. So expat is someone living in another country. Vicky, I sort of did a gap year before I was coming to Argentina, and I do not recommend it unless if you're working and traveling or studying and traveling, a gap year is really good. But if you're not, a gap year wastes a lot of time. So my recommendation is only do a gap year if you're working and traveling or studying and traveling, not just traveling because you waste quite a lot of time. Because when you come back to the real world, you'll realize that you did nothing for a year. Gap years can work in any country. It's up to the person. So the person decides to do it or not. So, for example, if I decide to do a gap year and I'm living in Argentina, I can go to Asia, I can go to Europe, America, anywhere I decide to travel. Okay? No, the gap year is the choice of the person. Okay? Exactly. Un año sabático. Exactly. It's a choice of the person. So I choose not to go to university and I choose to travel. So it's up to us. Good. So we did gap year. And now this is more related to the individuals, more related to the person. So it's something called fit in. So fit in. Okay, guys? So basically, to fit in, is gap year a verb? Pretty sure. So guys, to fit in is when, hold on, my camera just moved. To fit in, how are you, teacher? I'm good, Maeve, and how are you? Exactly, a gap year is considered like an exchange, but again, you have the option to either travel and work, or travel and study, or just travel, okay? So a lot of people do the gap year just to relax, okay? So we're going to go back to this one, guys, because we're sort of deviating here. So fit in, all right, is when you want to how do we say it? Join the society or join the people you're living in. So, say for example, you're in Australia and you're an Argentine and you don't really fit in, you don't really participate, or you're not really into the group. Okay, perfect. And how, no, I mean, this is more related to society, the community. So fit in is more related to how you are as a person, how you, how you, let me see. Yes, Google says, I'm pretty sure it says that. But remember, um, I'm not sure how to say this in Spanish. Como pertenecer or sentirte cómodo, okay? To join the society. So let's put an example. Let's go to school. Integrarse, exactly, Paula. That is perfect. Exactly, guys. It's integrate yourself into a society. Very, very good. Exactly. Fit in terms of an action of fitting in. All right. This is in terms of perfect. Okay, guys. This is very good. Let me post it here. Let me paste here. Very, very good. That is what Paula did. Okay. Exactly. There we go. Adapt to the culture. Okay. All right, guys. Very good, everybody. Amazing helping out. Incredible. So exactly, fit in is when you, I'll put it in a sentence, is when you feel a part of a society. So I'll put you in a sentence for you guys. I moved to Australia, and then I tell my parents, guys, I don't fit in because they're very different. So for example, don't I do not fit in. Okay. So here, so this is obviously the negative aspect. All right. I do not fit in. They are very different. Um, Vicky, good question. It was quite difficult when doesn't when someone doesn't fit in. You don't really use that for you really use the term excluded. Okay, of society. Okay, you can either say I do not fit in, which is perfect, or you could say so it's quite hard to fit in, but once or a bit over time it was perfect. We're going to our comfort zone, guys, our comfort zone. Okay, it got paused. How is it now? Is it better, guys? Is it better? I mean, is it used fitting negatively? It depends always on the sentence. Okay, it could always be positive or negative depending on the individual experience. Is the connection a bit better, guys? Perfect. So now we're going to our comfort zone. All right, guys? Yes, I don't fit in my new job. Okay. So comfort zone. Hold on, I think there's some issues with my Wi-Fi. Okay. It got paused. Yeah. How about now, guys? Is it better? Let's see. It should be better now, guys. Is it better? No. Goodness me. Check one more time. Yeah, have patience is yeah, don't worry guys. We will go through them again. What the heck is happening? Alright, here we go. Alright. Is it for time? I think Sylvina, it could be the weather or it could be the time. Alright guys, we are back. I will write it, don't worry, Thomas. So, comfort zone. So here we go, guys. Comfort zone. Okay. In Spanish, third, I, I think it's the weather. I, I think it is the weather, guys. But okay, so let's go through them as quickly as possible so we get the vocabulary done. So comfort zone, zona. Valeria, it could be both, positive or negative. Okay, you could say I fit in perfectly. Okay, I fit in very good, or if you use both positive or negative. So comfort zone, zona de confort, we know. Wire money, guys, wire money is say, for example, I am living in another country, I have no money, I tell my parents, hey guys, can you send me something? And they send me money through transfer. Okay, so wire money is money through transfer. Okay, money through transfer. Good. And our next one, and it's quite a huge one nowadays. Exactly, Andrea. It is a transfer of money. Okay, it could be done through a bank, done online, however. But it is say, for example, I am in Australia, my parents are here, and I go, guys, I have no money, can you send me something? And they send money through transfer. Okay, they can't give it to me in person because it's impossible, so they give it to me to transfer. Exactly, Santiago. Perfect. So good. We know what we're talking about here. So a stereotype. Perfect. So it's a stereotype. We know it's horrible. It's when they take an assumption of a whole country because of one thing. So guys, what stereotype do you think is in Argentina? All right. Good. There are quite a lot of stereotypes here. So what is your stereotype for the Argentine? Okay. So what stereotype have you heard about people from Argentina? Okay, guys, so this is just a quick, if you want to take a photo, all right, if you want to take a picture of this, and then a picture of that. All right, guys, perfect. So remember, guys, stereotype is basically when you judge someone based on assumptions, based on things that are not really true. Put a shrimp on the Barbie, which does not exist, but for some reason it's used all the time. Okay, so I'll write it here. So guys, this is a stereotype that we hear quite a lot in Australia. Yes, there are opinions that basically don't exist, but they're opinions that a lot of people tend to believe. So in Australia, we have quite a lot that are not really true, like the one there, a shrimp on the Barbie, We don't eat shrimps, we eat prawns, and we don't use Barbie, we use barbecues. So these are things that are adopted by the people. Okay, and then now we have our last set of vocabulary. Here we have a phrase, okay, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Okay, guys? So here we got a phrase that says, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Okay, guys? I'll write it here. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. So basically what it means, it's pretty related to fitting in. So say, for example, you go to Australia, shrimp is, uh, what is those? A prawn, those pink seafood. It's seafood. I don't know how to say it in Spanish. In Australia, they have set up in the United States, have set up of immigrants, Mexico. Exactly. Literally, you're right. Um, exact. Come on, exactly, pal. So the phrase "a shrimp on the Barbie" is a stereotype that was adopted, was given to Australians. Okay, they assume that Australians always put shrimps on the Barbie, which is not true. Okay, very good. So Anto, it is an idiomatic expression. Okay, it's like a proverb. Okay, so now we're going back to this. So when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Let me get a copy here. Okay, so here we go. I'm pasting it again, so we guys know it. Yeah. So when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Basically, what it's telling you to do is fit in. Okay. So let's say, for example, I'm going to use Australia as an example because it's what I know. Say every Australian, let's say, goes to the beach with their bare feet. So bare feet, guys. No, no, and here we go. Let me go. Andrea, a shrimp on the Barbie is a stereotype given to Australia, to Australians. Okay, guys? Okay. So when in Rome, do as the Romans do basically means if you're in another country, do what the people of that country do. Okay, so if you are in another country, do what the people in that country do. Okay? If you are in another country, do what the people in that country do. That's what it means. So in Australia, if every Sunday they go to the beach, example, it's not true, it's an example, go to the beach. If in Australia they don't wear shoes, sort of don't wear shoes, okay? No, it's not obligatory, it's an expression. It's not, don't worry guys, you don't have to do it, it's advice. So if you do it, it helps you fit in. Exactly, Ando, helps you fit in, helps. All right, it helps you fit in so you don't stick out. Okay, exactly, exactly. So do as the Romans do is, for example, everyone in Australia, I don't know, likes to walk without shoes. You have the option to join them and feel comfortable and walk without shoes. It's not force. Okay, it's a choice. Which one? Do as the Romans do, guys. Remember, this is not a stereotype. This is an expression to help you fit in. Okay, it's an expression. All right. Now we're going to move to different, permanent and temporary. So if you move permanently, you move to stay forever. Exactly. Try to adapt to the customs. Exactly. So if exactly, if Australians do sort of this, you try to do that to fit in. Exactly, guys. So permanent is you move and you try to stay there forever. No, don't worry, guys. Temporary is you go there and you stay there for a little while. Okay? So forever, for a short period of time. Okay, guys? Good. And now we have another way to say another country. So we know abroad means in another country. All right, here, I'll write it down. Permanent, temporary, abroad, and overseas. So those are the B's, okay? All right, I wrote them there, guys, if it's not seen, okay? If it's not seen, I wrote it there. So if you look on your chat, you have it there. So you have permanent, which basically means you go to live forever, okay? Temporary, you go there for a short period of time, like a vacation or maybe an exchange. Abroad and overseas are other ways to say, no worries, guys, are other ways to say in another country. I'm going abroad, I'm going overseas, okay? So that, guys, is our vocabulary for today, okay? Any doubts on this vocabulary before we end the live session? Any doubts? Oof, I got bright light. Any doubts, guys? I'm going to write it here. Any doubts? Anything that was not good to understand? No worries, guys. It was a pleasure. I didn't stand the last one, which is abroad and overseas. So abroad and overseas means traveling or living, okay? In traveling, I'm going to put it here, traveling or living in another country. Hold on, I'm not spell that properly, okay? So guys, abroad and overseas means living or traveling in another country, okay? So instead of another country, I do not know what, Dika, I do not know what that is. Okay, exactly, there are synonyms. There are other ways to say another country. Okay, there are other ways to say another country. Other ways to say another country. Let me write it down there. Okay, so here we have a question by Dika. Hold on, let me paste it here. So he did this, and that in English, very, very good, is neighboring countries. Okay, that means neighboring countries. Okay, exactly, Andre. Abroad and overseas is the same thing. Let me see. Anything? No, thanks. Perfect. Santiago, don't worry about the shrimp on the barbie. That is just a stereotype. So it's just a stereotype that is placed on Australians that think they always have a shrimp on a barbie. Okay. Very good question. Australia after the fire, they were hit with the coronavirus, so they're doing okay. They're recovering. Thankfully, in Australia, when it rains a lot, but they're recovering. It's still going to take a couple of years to recover completely. Okay? So, guys, if there are no doubts, no issues, I'm going to end the live stream very soon. Go to a boarding country, we say that's overseas too. You could say that. I mean, you could say that. Exactly, I'm going overseas. The idea with abroad and overseas is you are leaving your country to another. Okay? So leaving your country for another. Okay? So guys, thank you very much. Hold on, I didn't spell much. Very good. Thank you very much for taking your time out, okay, and watching the live. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it was useful. If you have any doubts, remember you can send a message and I'll answer them. But thank you guys. Appreciate the views. Thanks. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your rainy Saturday, and hopefully I can see you guys soon at Blossom and the perfect service that Blossom has to offer. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Until next Saturday. Remember, any doubt, any issue, you can either send a message to your teacher or you can send a message to me. I'll get it. And thank you guys. I'm going to do a big thank you again. Thank you for taking your time out and watching. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the class like I did. And I will see you guys next Saturday. Okay? So I'm going to end it. Take care, everybody. Be safe and take care. Everybody, bye.